Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Live. Today we have a treat for you. Jan O'Meara from Ginge's Wire Sculptures is back with us again in the studio. And yes, she is here at Powertex Australia, and she's going to do another fabulous demonstration for you using Powertex to create incredible animal skins and give away some of the secrets behind some of what she actually does in her own artwork. So Jan, welcome back to the studio. It is wonderful to have you here.
Thank you, Ashley. It's lovely to be here.
So, of course, if people didn't watch last week, make sure that you have a look at part 1 where Jan talks about the different materials that you used, didn't you, Jan? So last week we covered how you used lots of materials. Now, I know you brought a couple of things in, and you've also brought in the little numbat piece that you started with last week.
Yes.
And when we left him, he was looking white and fuzzy. Shall we take a look at him now?
Yes.
So I'll just pop it onto the art table. Look at that. So he is looking totally different. So did you want to just talk through what you've done since last week? So, of course, maybe just start with the natural fibres for those who didn't see. And
yes, that was the, what was it called? The cotton.
The coconut fibres.
So I painted, the reason I paint most things white is so I can see it. My eyesight's not so great. But I've used, so I painted it brown now. It still needs its stripes. And so I used, the Powertex I've got is a dark brown, and I just wanted to do some lighten up. And I've got some old acrylic paint and tubes, so I just use that. So throwing it away, keep using it. And so I've got sort of that colour. I'm going to lighten up the front, give him a trim, and then start to put the stripes on.
The colour is looking really brilliant. So for those people out there who don't know much about Powertex, the brown Powertex is actually called bronze. It is really, really handy as a base colour for everything. And so the great thing with what Jan's talking about here is she's just used her old acrylics to mix in with the Powertex to change the colour a little bit. So it looks great, Jan.
Yeah, so once I've got him painted up with his stripes, then I'll probably post either on my page and actually the Powertex site so you can see the finished product. So give me a couple of weeks and it should be finished, that one.
Awesome. So very cool. And what else have you got there? So I know last week we talked a lot about how Powertex is the perfect medium for working with natural materials and that it works with everything. So you've got the little fluffy one there. What's that one?
Okay. So this one was one of my first plays. So it's the same thing. It's the coconut matting. And I literally just wrapped it in a ball, put some wire on it, painted it white. I could probably do. And I did it for an expo with farmers and sheep and made about 20 and everyone loved them. So this is the last one. So I might freshen this one up because if I make it in wire, it takes a fair time. So these were just balled up and wired and painted.
Fantastic. Very cute.
So that's awesome. Me sheep.
And it will look nice once it's painted up as well.
Yeah. And that's probably because back then I just painted it white and it's absorbed. So it's always about the absorption with depending on what materials you're using, but it's all trial and error.
Brilliant. So do you want to show us I love the emu. So let's just take a look at him because you've used straw to create this one. So I guess what we're just showing you is how Jan uses pretty much anything with her wire to really create the textures and fibres. And of course, Jan, you found the Powertex is the perfect medium to make it work for you.
Well, this is what I made the echidnas in as well, but I sort of went for a funky emu. And again, it was a bit of chook wire rolled up, made a neck, and then just shoved the straw in and painted it.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I think that one was sprayed with a bit of varnish, actually. Yeah.
Excellent.
So
fantastic.
That one.
So
And
Donna's on with us again
hi,
this
Donna.
week. So lovely to see you. And she's just saying that he's looking fabulous already, the little numbat, I think.
Oh, great.
And
Yeah.
I think it might be Robin that's on, because she's saying hello
Hi,
to
Robin.
us both and also to David. So if you are on with us, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop Jan any questions while you have the opportunity to ask her about anything that she does. So it's wonderful to have her here. So Jan, did you want to show us what you're going to demonstrate this week? Because it's
yes,
going to be a bit of a treat for everyone.
Okay, so I had the penguin last week, but what I've done with him, I've painted and used the Flexi,
Easy 3D Flex.
3D Flex,
Yeah.
which I'm going to show you a little bit about that a little bit later. So I thought I will do a cassowary. So we're doing a cassowary today. So I made the wire form of the bird, and this is just a bit of cut up material that I have in my, my drawers. Normally I would have painted this black first, but you wouldn't be able to see what I'm going to do with the 3D Flex. So we'll see how that goes. I do use silver foil. I use anything really that can shape, and I would normally have put masking tape over that, so I'm not sure how the paint's going to go on that one, just to give the shape of the head. So we're going to do some 3D Flex. Now, I haven't done it in this stringy form before, so it is going to be an experiment, which is what it's all about.
Absolutely. So essentially, though, with that texture, do you want to just hold the penguin texture up?
Yep.
So you've used the 3D Flex to create that texture. If you just hold it a little bit closer to the camera, everyone can actually see that beautiful, no, towards there, right there. See that beautiful texture that's got. So that's actually done with Easy 3D Flex and just mottled on. So Jan's going to show you essentially how she does that now.
Yes. So, of course, I'm using black, and I will put the paint in first. So I'm still learning different techniques, and I suppose when you're doing it in front of someone that knows all about the product, it can be, it's not daunting because Ashley's good, but you sort of feel like, oh, I'm under, am I under pressure because I'm not doing it right? It doesn't really matter as long as the effect works.
Exactly.
So you just add a little. I probably put too much in then, but I'm just, I did. See, that was just talking. So I'm just going to add more paint. Because the trick is,
really can't go wrong, can you?
No.
It's just playing. And it is great to go to a workshop and learn some techniques, and it's good to get an understanding of the different products. So, of course, all the new videos that I've recently put together that are on the YouTube channel talking about what each of the different products do, they are super helpful if you're unsure. And then you can just play and experiment to your heart's content like Jan's showing you now.
So I'm mixing it. I sort of want it thick. And because I would have maybe have used wool on this, but so
would you say like a peanut butter consistency?
Yeah, it needs to be that's a little bit runny still. Yep. But when you add it, just add it a little bit at a time because the consistency.
Otherwise, it does what it did before.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's not quite runny enough to put on as a for what you want.
Yeah, because it could be like if it.
You want it kind of to create that feathery texture, don't you?
Yeah, so I think that's still a bit loose because it's still dripping. Otherwise, it's just going to run off the sides. Mm-hmm. So again, this is all about.
You just really do it by eye, don't you? And experiment. So the more you play with it, I love the 3D Flex because there's just so many possibilities, and the fact that you've got control over how thick or thin you make it means that the applications you can use it for are endless. Look at that. That's great.
So that's getting.
So it's going to hold its form more.
Yeah. So I can even put it on. So because I want it to run down, I don't know how this is going to let's see. So I sort of want that texture. Oh, it is going to sort of work there because I want it raised. I want it because they're feathers, you know, they sort of come down from the
middle
top
of the
back.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it might be that this one I'll have to do one side today and then do the other side tomorrow, or when it's, you know, when it's dried off.
I love
properly.
those random marks when you get those random marks.
Yeah. So it might have been a little bit thick, but it is what it is. And I find even with the wire and doing this, you have a thought in your head and go, oh, I want it to go that way. I've learnt over the years just to go with it.
Yeah, they kind of get a life of their own, don't they?
And people will say, well, how did you get that? I don't know. It's the wire did it. Or, you know, it's just the way that the Powertex went. So it might not be what you wanted.
Planned exactly.
But there's no point, you know, getting frustrated. Just, this is what it is. And then you can still try and do another one, you know, with a different technique.
Perfect.
And I think that's why you know, people say, can you do the same thing twice? And I just say, no, I can't, because you can't reproduce.
It would never be exactly the same.
No. So
might be similar, but not exactly the same.
Yeah. So, you know.
That's looking fabulous. Look at that.
Yeah. So if I'd painted it black, you wouldn't have seen the
pattern.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if it's a bit thicker. It'll be because it really is just a reflection of what the animal. I'm never going to get something looking exactly like a cassowary. So it's the wire and mine. The interpretation is there.
So when you did the penguin, you basically covered him totally with the 3D flex and then just speckled him up with your finger?
I painted him black first.
Yep.
And then did this and then just dotted it everywhere. Yep. And then just pushed a bit of a wooden skewer and rolled it around.
Nice.
Trying to get a feathery effect. It didn't work, but the effect still, it was still there.
I imagined you just going, duk, duk, duk.
Yeah, so I think because if you're going to go to this trouble of putting a textured material on, you want it to see it once it's finished.
Yeah, you still want to see some of that underlayer.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
it's looking great. I love the random marks that you get with the 3D flex.
Yeah, and the material's got a bit of kink in it as well.
Undulations, yep.
So because he doesn't, I haven't got him standing. I usually have him on a stand. So I'll probably just do this side because he will be hard to transport otherwise. I always call them
he can lie down and dry, and then you can flip him over and do the other side.
Yeah. And so for the head part, it'd be nice if I can actually, wonder if that'll work on there. Shall we see?
So normally with the 3D flex, I'll put a runny mix underneath it.
Yep.
Just on whatever surface I'm covering. But I'm sure it will probably stick. Because it will actually stick to itself around the surface, because it's going around that and over the top. The Powertex will stick to itself almost like a little hat.
Right. So I only do the one side on that one as well.
Does anyone have any questions for Jan? Are you guys excited about having a go and having a play with 3D flex? I know a lot of you already play with it, but you know, I guess it's just nice to see how you can just literally just play around and get some wonderful effects.
And always just use a little bit, like don't make a whole bucket worth, because, you know, you're just going to waste it.
Yeah. And I love the fact, Jan, that you're really paying attention. And I think it's so important because it's really easy to get carried away. It is so much fun and just keep going and cover everything.
Yes.
But it's really important to let some of those first layers actually shine through as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm going to try and use this, what I've got up.
He's looking gorgeous.
Yeah, and, you know, they have blue on them, so...
yeah, the colours are amazing.
Yeah.
You know what would be nice once he's dry is we've got the fabulous new Powertex,
Right.
which come in royal blue and also violet and turquoise. You'd get that sort of PowerShell glow that the cassowaries sort of have in the black of their feathers with that.
Well, that might be exciting.
I love the way that you can actually make those colours look like those beautiful colours that you get on the house shells from New Zealand.
Yeah. So I went to fuss with that one, and of course it's starting to dry. So once you put it on, just leave it. Just let it do what it does. So that's sort of how I would leave that one now and let it dry.
So did you find because it had started to dry, it then lifted?
Yes.
Off, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
So that it will be, and then I'll do the other side. And I most likely leave his legs in wire because I still want to show my wire work that I do. But, and you know, the copper always looks good. So that's...
Do you want to just hold him up closer to the camera?
It's hard. So sorry, it's just hard when I'm...
That one, yeah.
That way.
About there. Look at that texture. So, of course, that'll dry, and then when you paint everything black and then highlight it, it's going to look fabulous.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's sort of that one. And then what am I... I'm just going to...
You're going to colour up the penguin?
Ah, yes. So I love this. I know you'll see it back the front there, won't you? It's a bronze. This is the one I've always used. It's a... Can you see that there? Yes. So I use this just to do some highlighting after I've finished what I'm doing. However, Ashley has a copper one, which I've never used. So, but I'm going to...
I'm going to
have a bash.
Have a play. Now, Jan, we've got a few comments. So
yes.
It's really lovely to always hear from people about what they've tried and what they're doing.
Yep.
So Donna just says that she's actually used it on her wreaths and she's got some great textures with the 3D flex.
Yep.
And then, of course, she sprayed it with the bisters and you just... she said that all the people that did it with her were just amazed. And Robin's just also asking, have you been able to make the birds with feathery effects with the 3D flex?
The closest I've got to making feathers was using masking tape and forming a feather shape, and then, but no, I've slit the, you know, cut. What am I trying to say? Cut the feathers. But no, but I could have a go at that. That might be a, yes, I might try it.
So, Robin, I just, so if you have a look at what Jan has done on the cassowary, you can see how the texture effects are going to give the illusion of feathers. So whilst they're not actual feathers themselves, it's going to give it that really feathery look of the bird. So that's what she's going for.
Yeah.
And of course, she said, Jan said to me earlier, she said, oh, I could have used, you know, some wool or string or, you know, something to actually give that same effect. So there's lots of ways to make things look feathery. It's a case of experimenting and playing, isn't it, Jan?
Yes. So that's starting to dry now. So when Robin said that, I thought, oh, you could probably go into here and start to, but see now it's got to the point where it's still coming back. So yeah, you just won't get that, you won't get the effect.
And if you think about it, like most of the time when you're looking at something feathery, you know, whilst they have feathers that come off, you know, you don't actually see all the individual elements. It's actually the feeling of the texture, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Yes, it's just an impression. I mean, you know, numbats don't look
It's
like
an
that.
impression, absolutely.
You know, they're not fuzzy and fluffy. And neither are emus, although I have seen some funky emus in my day.
Yeah.
All right, so
just before we do
yep.
go on, sorry, Donna is just also saying, do you cover your wire with masking tape before you Powertex it?
I have in the past, and I can. Masking tape doesn't have the flexibility like material does. Material sort of, you can really pull that down and stretch it. But yes, I have used the masking tape. Maybe I would use it on some of the wings sometimes that way and do it that way. But that's what I used when I first started. But I love experimenting, so I will use anything. Try anything.
Yeah, and also, Donna, Jan actually paints directly onto the wire as well with the Powertex.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. So sometimes, like Jan was saying earlier, that she might actually paint the belly of the penguin with white,
Yeah.
and make him white. She's not sure whether she's going to leave it the copper or actually take some Powertex onto the wires.
Yeah.
So, of course, the Powertex will adhere to metal as well. So it's going to stick, and because it's going around the wire, you'll also find it's doing that thing where it's sticking to itself. So it might take a few more coats than just one.
Yeah. And when you were talking, was Donna, about the blister? So inside the penguin, because this was a piece of old leather, it was a tan colour, and you could sort of see it. And
Yeah.
So I got the blister and through the little holes and just sprayed in there. So it really didn't get on the wire here. And I just sprayed through just to darken that up a little bit at the back, which looks better than the brown. Yes.
Fantastic. So Donna's just saying, oh, wow, I'll give that a go and paint directly onto some wire.
Yeah.
So she's going to try that.
Just remember it drips through. So, you know, if you're too liberal with it, and it's just going to drip through to, you know, other bits. So I always use it sparingly because it'll just drip through.
And so you're better to do a thin layer and then do multiple layers.
Yeah.
So do a few coats.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome.
All right. So
Colour.
yes. Now I grabbed your paintbrushes actually to do this one, but did I grab the right one?
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that all right to use that? Okay, so I'm using, what do you call this? This is
Easy Coat Glossy.
Yes, so that one. And when you're using this, you really don't need to use a lot. So I'm going to put just a tiny, now do we have a cloth to wipe this with? Can I use that one?
You can just do it directly. You can mix directly on the Perspex even.
Oh,
Would
can I?
probably be easier.
Oh, yep.
Yep.
So I'm just looking for can I use, so the thing with these, when you tip it out, if it drips, I'll show you, because this is, whoop, you get that little bit. Can I use that cloth?
Yeah, I just use my finger.
So wipe it. Always, the paint, the little bottles, always wipe it, because when you put the lid back on, you won't, you know, you'll need pliers to get the lid off. Or David. All right.
Yeah, I'm not very good at wiping my bottles, I do confess.
And with this, you only need to have a little bit. I start with a little bit, and then you can always add to it. So this is the way I do it. So Ashley will do it differently, or I do it the same way, I don't know. So you literally are getting just a little bit of the, oh, look at that colour. And you just mix a little bit with it. And it's like a feathering, would you call it? That I don't want to paint everything. You sort of just want
you're catching the tops of the textures. So it's like dry brushing over the top of that texture.
So I just come down onto it, and oh, it is a coppery, isn't it?
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Oh, so I went too hard down then, but that's okay. Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy with it, you can paint over it and start again.
Yeah, so what Jan's using there is Easy Coat Glossy. The Easy Coat Glossy is actually acting as a binder with the pigment. And you can also use Easy Varnish, which is awesome. So the Easy Varnish actually has a liquid wax in it, which is really, really nice. So you can use the Glossy, the matte, or the Easy Varnish to do the same thing.
And I've used, well, the other one, the bronze one. So when I did the dragons and their wings, and it really highlighted the, you know, if you've got a lot of texture there, it really does.
Actually, spending the time colouring them up just transforms them, doesn't it?
And it can make them look oldish, you know, because they've got that.
You could do that aged copper look even with that verdigris sort of green colour that comes through on aged copper.
Yep.
If you wanted to on something.
So I probably put too much out. As you can see, I haven't gone back for another dip yet. So
it goes a long way.
Yeah.
Can you hold that up closer to the camera so we can have a look? So that's just off. I know it feels odd.
I know, there it is there.
There he is. So
it's a little bit, you know, dark on that, but I can fix that up.
So you can see how Jan's just catching the tops of the textures there and really allowing that dark colour to come through from underneath. If you paint everything, it will actually look less colourful because you don't have the contrast of the dark coming through.
Yeah, actually I like the copper.
That looks great. And of course you can layer him up as well. So I know how much you love that bronze gold, Jan, so you could actually do the copper and then finish it off with a bit of bronze gold as well.
Okay, we might do that then.
Yeah. It just gives him a highlight. So I normally work with my darker colours underneath towards my final lighter finishing colours like my golds or silvers.
But as I said, yeah, you don't need a lot. And it goes a long way, like it lasts a long time.
He's happy.
He's happy.
Yeah, he looks happy.
So because I've got quite a matte brush, I might actually just sort of brush the initial bit up on the feet because it doesn't really...
Take the excess off.
Yeah. And I'm not doing it on the... which will be highlighted with it later on. All right, let's see what that does.
You're just off camera a bit there.
Sorry. No, there.
Yep.
Just use a little bit more. Yeah, it's just getting the height and getting the feel. When I first started doing it, I was quite heavy with it. When I've learned just to be, it's like just a kiss of that on the top.
Yeah, fabulous.
So that's come up all right.
Wonderful. I love the way that, you know, the more you work them, they just start to develop little characters, don't they?
Yeah.
And they kind of tell you what they want.
Yes.
He's looking fabulous.
Yeah,
so looking at him, do you think you'd like to paint his front white, or do you think you'll leave him more coppery? Or
I don't know, because if I painted him white, it'll probably just be like an impression, like a bit of what.
We can't see him. He's too
see,
high
I'm
up.
not used to. So this is all new, like using cameras
there we go.
and that.
Look at that.
So maybe I put a token a bit of white.
Yep.
We all know he looks like a penguin, but the white might just go here.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And leaving the copper on the sides or something. I don't know. What do you think?
Fabulous. Well, when we get, I reckon the white on his belly will look great because it will just kick up a bit of contrast.
Yep.
But I'm sure whatever you do will look amazing. He's looking just gorgeous. See how his little head is blending more with his skin now? That's just looking beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah, so it is it's sort of like, and I want to always use it. Like, I know you got to wait until you're finished. Like, finish the piece and then have a sort of like massaging it into it.
Robin's just saying, Jan, that she loves your wire work.
Thank you, Robin.
And I know during the week I've spoken to quite a few people who have said to me that they really enjoyed watching what you did last week.
Oh,
so
thank you.
I'm sure they'll be thrilled to be watching again. So for people who are watching on replay, just drop us a comment, let us know you're here, and hashtag replay so that we know that you watched.
And I'll post some photos of these two when they're sort of fit. Oh, this one, oh no, 3 when they're finished.
Wonderful. So, of course, Jan, we'll have you come back into the studio again. So probably in a month or so.
Yes.
And you can bring some of these pieces that you've started here,
Yep.
and you can bring them and show us them finished.
Absolutely.
So that will be fun. So, yeah. So thank you, everyone, for being on Friday Live with us today, and we really love having you here. Donna's just saying, has Jan got a Facebook page? Absolutely, Donna. I'll put that up for you right now. Hang on, I'm just looking for it.
And I don't manage it as well as I should, but I'll start doing a few more posts.
So she is Ginge's Wire Sculptures. There it is. Was hiding from me. She is Ginge's Wire Sculptures on Facebook and Instagram. So you can connect with Jan there, and you'll see her artwork on there. So she is currently building a website as well. So as soon as we have those details, we'll let you know those too, because it's wonderful when you love someone's work to be able to follow and see what they do. So, yeah. And of course, next week, I will be back again. Hang on, I've just lost my little banners. I'll just take that one down. Next week, I'll be back again, and I will be showing you a little bit more about colour with Powertex, and I'm just going to have a bit more colour play and throw some colour around. So if you'd like to join me for that, it's always wonderful to have you on board, and I'm just going to have a bit of a mixed media play and show you some more ways that you can use Powertex, which I love to experiment with, like Jan has really encouraged you to do today as well. So don't forget that you can connect with us on Facebook too. So, you know, really great to do that. We like to see what you do from these little inspirational sessions. We hope that you have really, really enjoyed today, and that you have a fabulous creative weekend. And if you do want to learn more about Powertex, of course, you can go to the website, and there's loads and loads of free help on YouTube as well that you'll be able to find. And if you've enjoyed it, there's loads and loads of Friday Lives with lots of free content from the last few years since 2020. So, Jan, thank you so much for joining us again today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here.
And happy birthday for yesterday.
Thank you. I had a great night last night. I actually went out. My husband said to me, oh, what do you want to do on your birthday? And I said, I want to do what I normally do, which I normally paint on a Thursday night. So I had cake and wine and painted. So I was in my little happy place.
Nice, nice.
So thank you. That's lovely. All right, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful weekend from Jan and I.
See you later.
Happy creating. And we'll have Jan back again very soon. Ciao, everyone.
All right, see ya.
We're still on.